So finally I made it back to the studio here in London and I've just about recovered now. If you haven't watched either of my two previous videos, I rode my bike from London to Edinburgh, a distance of 680 kilometers over 2 days, using this Trimm One cycling computer. Obviously, as you can imagine, after that epic cycle ride, I had a bit of time in Edinburgh once I got there to relax, have a decent night's sleep, have a lot of food, and actually had a couple of days to explore the city. If you haven't visited Edinburgh in the past, I really recommend it. It's absolutely stunning. It's surrounded by sea and mountains, and it's got this beautiful, beautiful castle which I finished up right in the middle of the town, which you can see from about 20 kilometers away. The perfect place to unwind and gather myself after a bit of an epic. We were really lucky in Edinburgh. We stayed in a really nice, quite a posh hotel actually, and not everything had opened back up after the coronavirus pandemic. But that being said, there was still all of the high street shops open and lots of little nice cafes and restaurants. And of course there was the odd person dressed up from head to toe in Scottish wear with their kilts playing bagpipes. You can't get more Scottish than that, right? So it's now a couple of days after I arrived here in Edinburgh, and my goodness, the day after, I was actually not bad, was I?
You weren't as bad as what I expected.
No, I kind of thought I would want to stay in bed for at least until about midday, but we were out exploring, starting to feel a whole lot more human, luckily. The weather's actually been not too bad since we've been here, but it looks like the rain is coming, so looks like we timed it relatively well, but yeah, back to the studio. So in this video, I'll be giving my thoughts and my review on this Trimm One device. Stay tuned because at the end of the video, I'll be giving one of these units away to one of you lucky viewers. So overall, I absolutely love getting to use this little device over my little adventure. And I had absolutely loads of people DMing me and on the YouTube comments saying, "Lawrence, what is this device?" I guess it looks pretty different from what's out there already on the market. So one of the main features that I wanted to mention about the Trimm is that it's the world's first solar charging bicycle computer, which is pretty cool, and it means, assuming you have sunshine, it means you can pretty much go on forever and ever. I have also heard that even on a grey day, it still works. When you're not using the solar charger, I found I got about 15 hours of use time from the device, which was enough for even my epic ride. However, if 15 hours is not enough use time for you, and you didn't want to use the solar panel charger, you can attach this, which is the speed cadence sensor, which will allow you to have a runtime of around 50 hours combined. I really love the fact that this product comes in a range of 8 colors, so you can have a nice little orange like I did here, or a red, or a blue, or a green, or a black. Looks really smart as well. And despite the fact it's an aluminium body, it still only weighs 62 grams. The screen, although black and white, was very, very clear, and I found it was the perfect size for a cycling computer. Just a little bit bigger than a Wahoo or a Garmin, unless you go for the really big touring ones. So the pages are presented in 3 different slides. The first one being heart rate, power, time, all of the different metrics you want. The second one being a little bit more information at the top, and then you can have a little altitude thing that I have. And then the third page is the navigation and the maps, as I have here, with your little speed icon at the top. Now that's how I have it set up, but you can completely customize exactly how you want it laid out and what you want where on the app. So that brings me on to the actual app. So once you pair the device to your smartphone, it is controlled very much in the same way like a Wahoo is. Once connected, you use the app to control not only data fields, but also your route planning, your GPX inputs, your Strava uploads, pairing with all of your ANT connected devices. The navigation on this device is super easy. This bar down here contains 3 buttons, of which the middle one kind of swaps between modes. This is personally how I have all of my data fields laid out, with obviously the speed on the top. The black bar halfway down the screen is the distance, and then obviously all the other ones surrounding it. So a feature that I really, really enjoyed on the Trimm device is that you get notifications which it pulls through from your smartphone. So if you get a text or a Facebook message or anything like that, it will notify you on your screen. Very useful for my recent trip that I just did. In terms of the mount, in the box it comes with a standard little out front round mount, which would be a problem if you have aero bars like myself, but luckily It also uses a quarter turn mount, which is exactly the same as a Garmin device. So lucky for me, I could just put my Trimm device onto my Garmin mount and that worked perfectly fine. The guys at Trimm have just come out with a new update, version 2.1 I believe, which has a couple of new features that I found really interesting. The first of which is a rerouting option, which is incredibly useful out on the road when using navigation. And the other one is a Strava automatic upload feature. Both of these features I know lots and lots of people were asking for, and both of them are almost expected that they come as standard with these kind of devices. It gives you a really good idea about where Trimm want to take this device in future, and it's encouraging that they're bringing these latest updates out so regularly. So two things I really loved about this device, having used it, is it's really sleek. As I said, loads of people wanted to ask, what is that new device? The other thing that I really enjoyed was, with obviously so many miles to cover and so many different turns to make, the navigation on this thing is really great. I love the little icon at the top left of the screen when you have a route plotted on here, which gives you an arrow and a countdown of exactly how far you have to go until said turn. Now onto a few things which I didn't like so much, and I'm sure a lot of them they can change in the future updates. The first thing is, when you are using navigation, it's zoomed in to a certain amount and you can't actually zoom out. Now normally this wouldn't necessarily be a problem, but on my trip I was making so many turns that it would have been useful to be able to see the turn from a little bit further out. And the other thing was that fingerprint shot really easily on the top. Now it's not a touchscreen, frustratingly, so you don't necessarily have to touch the screen, but when you pick it up and stuff like that, it really does show quite quickly. So yeah, this solar power addition is a little bit clunky. I think for tour riders it's fantastic, but I don't know about you, but I don't really want to be riding along with this on my bars. The final thing, which for me is not such a massive issue, but it's a little bit frustrating how the unit doesn't have integration with other third-party apps like Commute or Training Peaks. Now, as I say, this stuff is pretty simple and can be corrected in future updates, but for now, it's just Strava that it has an automatic link to. Now we come on to cost. Obviously, a cost of a cycling computer is a pretty key element. And this one comes in at $260 if you're American, or euros if you're over in Europe. But bear in mind, you'll also have to cover a small import duty on shipping, which shouldn't be any more than £20. Now the bit that you've all been waiting for is the giveaway. So all that you have to do to enter yourself to win one of these great little cycling computers is to make sure you like this comment, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and then to comment down below in the comments exactly which colour you would want if you was to win one. So that's about it on this GPS. A massive shout out to Trimm for sponsoring this video. And if you did have any comments about this unit, about my experiences with it, please do ask me down in the description and I will try my best to answer as many of those as possible. If you have been enjoying the content that I've been creating here on this channel, please ensure you continue to like and comment on all of these videos, and also make sure you have subscribed if you haven't already. I just wanted to say a huge thank you for all of your support, and I'm really proud of the little community that I've been able to create here on this channel. And for those of you who want to support the channel further, I've just created my own Patreon, where for the price of a coffee, you can help me continue to do bigger and better things right here on this channel. As usual guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Ciao.